Hey guys, it's Shoki. Are you ready to dive into the darkness with 3 terrifying stories that will keep you up at night? We're talking about the kind of stories that make you double-check your locks and sleep with the lights on. These are the urban legends, the whispers in the dark, the stories that send chills down your spine. So grab your blankets, turn off the lights, and get ready to be terrified because things are about to get real creepy. Okay, so picture this. It's the late 1990s, and a string of young men, mostly college students, are found dead in rivers and lakes across the country. These young men, full of life and potential, suddenly vanish, only to be discovered lifeless in the cold, dark waters. Their families are left devastated, their communities in shock, and the authorities are scrambling for answers. At first, it seems like a tragic series of accidents, open and shut cases, right? The initial investigations point towards accidental drownings, perhaps fueled by alcohol or drugs, common in college towns. The police file their reports, the media covers the stories briefly, and life moves on. But for the families, the pain lingers and the questions remain unanswered. But then a chilling detail emerges, a pattern that is too eerie to ignore. Some investigators, driven by a gut feeling, start to dig deeper into these cases. They pore over files, re-examine evidence and talk to witnesses, and that's when they notice something strange, something that sends a shiver down their spines. Some investigators start noticing something eerie near some of the death sites. Graffiti, specifically smiley faces, spray-painted on trees, bridges, walls. These smiley faces, seemingly innocent and playful, take on a sinister meaning in the context of these tragic deaths. They appear to be mocking the victims, a cruel joke left behind by someone who knows exactly what they are doing. Is it a coincidence, a sick joke, or something far more sinister? The investigators are baffled. They start to wonder if these smiley faces are a calling card, a signature left by a group of killers who are taunting the authorities, daring them to catch them. The more they think about it, the more it makes sense. But it's a theory that is hard to prove and even harder to accept. The investigators start to connect the dots, and a terrifying theory takes shape. The smiley face killers. They believe that this is not the work of a single individual, but a group, a network of killers who are working together, preying on young men, luring them to their deaths and leaving their mark, a smiley face, a final insult to their victims. It's a theory that is as horrifying as it is plausible. A group, a network, preying on young men, luring them to their deaths, leaving their mark, a calling card, a smiley face, a final insult to their victims. These killers are smart, organized, and meticulous. They know how to cover their tracks, how to blend in, and how to strike when no one is looking. They are like shadows, always lurking, always watching, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. No one knows for sure if these so-called smiley-face killers are real, but the thought of them lurking out there, watching, waiting, is enough to send chills down your spine. The idea that there could be a group of killers operating under the radar, targeting young men and leaving behind a mocking smiley face is the stuff of nightmares. It's a theory that has captured the imagination of the public and has left many people feeling uneasy. I mean, think about it. A group of individuals so organized, so meticulous, able to operate under the radar for so long. They plan their attacks carefully, choosing their victims and executing their plans with precision. They leave behind just enough clues to taunt the authorities, but not enough to get caught. It's a game to them, a deadly game that they are winning. It's the stuff of nightmares. The idea that there could be a group of killers out there watching, waiting and striking when you least expect it is terrifying. It's a theory that has left many people feeling uneasy and has made the authorities question everything they thought they knew about these cases. Whether the smiley face killers are real or not, the fear they have created is very real, and it is something that will haunt the families of the victims and the investigators for a long time to come. Imagine answering a knock at your door, and standing there are 2 children, their eyes completely black, like voids staring back at you. These aren't your typical trick-or-treaters. These are the black-eyed children, and they're here to make your skin crawl. People who claim to have encountered these creepy kids say they radiate an overwhelming sense of dread, like something evil is clinging to them. They often ask for something innocent enough, a glass of water, a place to rest, but their voices, they're often described as flat, emotionless, almost inhuman. The stories say you feel an intense urge to invite them in, but something deep inside screams at you to slam the door shut. Where do they come from? What do they want? No one knows for sure. But one thing's for certain, you don't want to be the one to let them in. I mean, can you imagine the feeling? That chill that runs down your spine when you lock eyes with them, the hair standing up on the back of your neck. It's like your body's screaming at you, danger, danger. The Black-Eyed Children are a modern urban legend, a chilling tale that has been circulating on the internet for years. The first known account dates back to the late 1990s when a journalist named Brian Bethel shared his terrifying encounter with these mysterious children. According to Bethel, he was sitting in his car one evening writing a check when two boys approached his vehicle. They asked for a ride home to get money for a movie, but something about them felt off. It wasn't until he looked into their eyes that he realized they were completely black. Overcome with an inexplicable fear, Bethel drove away as fast as he could. Since then, countless others have come forward with similar stories, each one more unsettling than the last. Some believe the Black-Eyed Children are extraterrestrial beings, sent to observe or even abduct humans. Others think they might be demonic entities, preying on the vulnerable and feeding off their fear. There are even those who speculate that they are the spirits of lost or abandoned children, seeking revenge on the living. Whatever they are, one thing is clear. The Black-Eyed Children are not to be trifled with. So, the next time you hear a knock at your door late at night, think twice before you answer. It might just be a couple of kids in need of help, or it could be something far more sinister. Remember, it's always better to be safe than sorry. After all, you never know what might be lurking in the shadows, waiting for you to let your guard down. The Black-Eyed Children are out there and they're waiting for their next victim. Will it be you? Stay vigilant, stay safe, and whatever you do, don't let them in. Chapter 3. The Legend of the Wendigo. Deep in the frozen wilderness of North America, a terrifying legend lurks. The Wendigo. This creature is not just a figment of imagination, but a deeply rooted myth that has haunted the minds of many for centuries. The Wendigo is said to roam the vast, icy expanses, always on the hunt, always hungry. This creature, born from Native American folklore, is the embodiment of greed, hunger, and the darkest impulses of mankind. The stories of the Wendigo have been passed down through generations, each tale more chilling than the last. The Wendigo is a symbol of the consequences of unchecked human desires and the terrifying transformation that can occur when one succumbs to their darkest urges. They say the Wendigo is a tall, emaciated figure, its skin stretched tight over its bones, its eyes burning with an unholy hunger. Its appearance alone is enough to instill fear in the hearts of those who encounter it. The Wendigo's skeletal frame and gaunt features are a stark reminder of its insatiable appetite and the lengths it will go to satisfy its hunger. It's said to have once been human, but greed and desperation drove it to consume human flesh, twisting it into this monstrous form. The transformation from human to Wendigo is a horrifying process, one that strips away all traces of humanity and leaves behind a creature driven solely by its need to feed. The legend serves as a cautionary tale, warning of the dangers of giving in to one's darkest desires. Those who venture into the Wendigo's territory often describe hearing its chilling howl echoing through the trees, a sound that sends shivers down the bravest soul's spine. The Wendigo's howl is said to be a harbinger of doom, a warning to those who dare to enter its domain. The eerie sound reverberates through the forest, creating an atmosphere of dread and foreboding. Some say the Wendigo can mimic human voices, luring its victims deeper into the woods, where it can feast on their flesh and add to its own grotesque form. The scariest part? The Wendigo's ability to mimic human voices is perhaps its most terrifying trait. It uses this skill to deceive and manipulate, drawing unsuspecting victims into its clutches. Once they are within reach, there is no escape from the Wendigo's insatiable hunger. Some legends say that anyone who resorts to cannibalism, even in the most desperate of circumstances, risks becoming a Wendigo themselves, their humanity devoured by the same insatiable hunger that consumes the monster. This aspect of the legend adds another layer of horror, as it suggests that the Wendigo's curse can be passed on to others. The transformation is not just physical but also psychological, as the victim's mind is consumed by the same insatiable hunger that drives the Wendigo. It makes you think, doesn't it? The legend of the Wendigo forces us to confront our own fears and the lengths we might go to survive. It challenges us to consider the moral and ethical boundaries we might cross in the face of desperation. What would you do to survive? The Wendigo legend serves as a stark reminder of the potential consequences of our actions. It asks us to reflect on our own values and the choices we might make when pushed to our limits. Would we be able to maintain our humanity, or would we succumb to the same dark impulses that created the Wendigo? Would you risk your soul to escape the clutches of the Wendigo? The legend of the Wendigo is a powerful and haunting tale that continues to captivate and terrify. It serves as a reminder of the darkness that lies within us all and the potential for that darkness to consume us if we are not careful. The Wendigo is not just a monster of folklore, but a symbol of the consequences of our actions and the choices we make in the face of desperation. So, there you have it. 3 terrifying urban legends that are sure to fuel your nightmares. Whether you believe these stories or not, they remind us of the thin line between reality and the unknown. They tap into our deepest fears, the things that go bump in the night, the shadows that seem to move just out of the corner of our eyes. Sleep tight if you can.